What up, Fish Tank people? It's John 3107 2000 here, bringing it to you on Water Change Wednesday from the 55 gallon. First and foremost, I want to get a shout out to the Worth family of my town. They donated that beta to us. Nice family. I got to meet the twin 3.5-year-old little boys. Had a tough time saying goodbye to Mr. Fish, as this beta is known, Mr. Fish. Wanted to get plenty of video of him today in his new home with his new friends, running around and all the plants. And again, just a big shout out to the Worth family, as they had something up on Craigslist. I responded, and through the next couple of days we acquired him, and what a healthy, beautiful fish. He's been a beautiful addition to this tank. Been loving life, loving being able to roam around. Probably a little more flow in here than he actually likes, but he's doing alright. He's liking it. He's running around with all the other fish, probably eating some of the fry, excuse me. Probably eating some of the fry, but that will happen. But other than that, it's just a update Wednesday, water change Wednesday. So I thought I'd bring it to you, show you all the plants. I gotta get in there and trim up this Amazon, well actually both the Amazon swords that I bought from Petco are looking a little raggedy. The leaves are starting to get holes. They're translucent. You can see the light through them. That's about the time you want to get in there and start clipping them, because the plant is actually trying to repair those leaves. So rather than wasting that energy to repair all these busted up leaves, you want to cut them off so that they can dump all the nutrients and all the good stuff in the new leaves coming up, which both plants have plenty of new life coming up in them. I imagine probably most of this is because of the fact that I had just gotten them and planted them. That's their transitioning phase. Because if you look at my Amazon that's been in here, look how huge and lush those leaves are. They're just monsters, and they're just totally green. You can't see any light through them. They're just monsters, and they're all over the place on both sides, right here in the front. I mean, that's how all the Amazon swords should look in this tank. However, in saying that, this is one of the two plants I've had for 3 years and never seen a runner on it. However, the leaves come in nice and big and green and solid. And they come, this particular plant brings in like 3 leaves at once. When it grows, it grows. I pretty much 2 weeks ago cut this down to like 4 leaves, and here it is. My other one has new growth coming in. Oh, my dog's here begging to be on camera, so as she walks away, never mind. I believe that's Rotella, and that's all growing well. Some Anubis that's been on that log for a long time. The other plant I wanted to mention is this guy. If you've been watching these updates, you know what this plant has looked like and what it does look like now. This plant is a monster. When I planted it, it was nothing like this bush of plant is here. It looked nothing like this when I planted it into the soil here. It was maybe 2 stems, and they were looking raggedy. Like when I planted it, I was wondering if it was gonna live. Within the first week, it let me know it was gonna live, and every week since, this thing is just taken off. And I don't even consider having this. This would be as low a light as you could possibly have in a planted tank. This is just barely over a watt per gallon in this tank. So this is probably as low a light as you can possibly have. I think I have either 64 or 68 watts going into this tank. So it's definitely a low light scenario. But everything seems to grow okay. If I had more light, I imagine it would grow faster. I don't have any high light demanding plants. Everything that's lived in here is rather low light requirement, and everything that does grow in here really grows in here. I want to take a quick shot of that monster baby on the Amazon runner, at the end of the Amazon runner. That thing is massive, and the roots on it, I don't know if I'm going to catch it, but they go forever from the bottom. I don't know if I can clip that one plant off and that one will continue to grow. I think if I'm to do that, it would stop the growth on both plants, and the second plant doesn't really have any roots. It has one root on the back side that's really small. So I really want to give it more time if possible, but I don't know how long that one's going to go before it demands to be planted. Starts dying because it's not planted. So I'm going to have to figure something out here pretty quick. Again, that plant, no matter where I plant it, has been a monster. There, this one up front that's getting massive amongst all the crypts that I have growing. Some I planted, some I haven't. That little 3-leaf crypt right there, I don't have any memory of ever planting that. I just looked one day and it was there. My little lily I want to grow. Malaysian trumpet snails digging in the soil. Java fern. And this is another of that same plant. When I planted this was 2 stems with one of these like leaf pieces at the end of both the stalks, and within 3 weeks it's grown to that. FERT, CO2, and my light stays on about 8 to 9 hours a day. So that seems to be what those plants like anyhow. Here's another crypt, although I believe I planted both those. But yeah, that 3-leaf in the back, I don't ever remember planting. This thing has been there for years and just like almost disappeared into the soil and has grown back to this in like a month. This is just eco-complete. There's nothing special done. I add the ferts once a week when I do water changes. CO2 running all the time on a 2-bottle DIY system. I'll see if I can get it. Usually the light makes it impossible, but... And you can see I have a glass crayon, I think it's called, and I just write the date that I start these bottles right on the bottle, so that there's no way I can mess it up and be like, oh, I can't remember when I got this going. Like this front bottle was done this morning, so it's just starting. The other bottle is a week old. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was supposed to do this yesterday. So both coming through the check valve into the bubble counter, and from the bubble counter the clear tube with the check valve into the tank to the power head, which has a spray bar on it, and then out into the tank. Now with the spray bar, obviously it doesn't spread it all too far, but it diffuses the ever-loving crap out of it. So you gotta take the good with the bad, and I don't really need it to go all the way across the tank. I have another one of those exact same power heads without the spray bar, unfortunately. And I will set up another one on that side of the glass, but if it came to the middle, it'd be a complete waste, seeing as I have that sponge filter in here blowing out bubbles of oxygen coming out. So, I mean, it would kind of be pointless if it was spreading out this far anyway. The oxygen and the CO2 would end up basically offsetting each other. So, but that's this tank. The only other thing I really wanted to touch on is That Anubis is just a monster. I don't even know if you can see all of it. It actually goes all the way as far as my camera will go to the left. This plant is just sickening. There's probably like 10 different stems you can cut off of to make more, or to spread around to other tanks. I have to non-planted tanks. This is my 55 small community. And you can see that's 2 pieces of Java Fern and a piece of Anubis, just rubber banded on there. I have some Java Moss on top of a small terracotta pot. That Rotella, which actually grows great in here. A little terracotta head with Java Moss on top. A little more Java Moss that isn't seeming to survive in here, just kind of floating around. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, there's another ball of it behind that cave deal. And that actually does okay. That and that seem to do okay. And probably the Anubis, I would say. Everything else looks pretty much like it's dying. I birded this tank for the first time this week, so we'll have to see what happens. Again, some more Rotella, and down low it doesn't look like it's doing so great, but up high it does look like it's growing, so I'm not sure. Some more of that stuck on there. So I just got so many in my 55 that I'm planting it everywhere just to get it out of the tank, because I have nowhere to put it in this tank left. I'm soon going to have to plant like 12 Amazon swords. I have no idea where I'm going to do all that. I have another 55 planted that I'm about to start. So, a lot of it's going to go in there. I wanted to get some new plants, probably from Dustin at Aquatic Jungle, so I want to give him a shout out. That's probably where I'm going to go to get some new plants. I wanted to get his package. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room to do so. So, it should be fun. And then I'm always striving for new lights, so I was going to go with the Odyssey 4-bulb system, and everything I read said you lose so much through it not having its own independent reflectors that it's not worth it. The half of the money you pay that's exactly what you get. You get half a light. Because if you spend the extra and you get the Coral Life with independent reflectors, it's putting twice as much light into the tank. So choose wisely, do your research, which I'll give that as anything with the fish, with the plants, with the lights, with the filters, with anything. Do your research. Nothing will benefit you better than doing your research. Don't look at one place and go off 3 reviews that a store site gave. Make sure you're going on forums and looking all over at information before you go out. There's just so much crap stuff out there. There's so much stuff you don't need out there. It's just mind-boggling. You gotta do your research if you want to be successful. Otherwise, you're gonna have a tank for a while. Something bad's gonna happen. You're gonna get discouraged and get rid of everything. So, do your research, folks. This went a lot longer than I meant it to. Thank you again to the Worth family for the donation of Mr. Fish, and for your out-and-out donation to the Fish Fund as we feed all NLS. Most of you fish guys do know that's $10 a shot per thing. So it's much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you for the donation of Mr. Fish. I'm so glad that we could give him a nice home. He looks happy. He looks like he's enjoying it. He actually looks like he's the king of this place. Like he's running stuff over here. So I hope that's a good enough video for you guys. I hope you guys can see him well. He's been doing great. Like I said, probably feeding on a few extra fry, but that's okay. We don't mind. Population control. But thank you again. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Got to get in here, do some clipping later on today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys will comment, rate, subscribe. Also comment in my 20 long video. I asked for you guys to comment on whether you thought I should pull the glow light tetras out of there. If I do, they will be going into that bottom tank that I just showed. So if you guys can leave me your comments on the 20 long video that came out today also about that, I would appreciate it. And please feel free to comment on anything, ask any questions you have. As soon as I see them, I'll answer them and get back to you. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.